Nobody here. What's up, guys? Oh, man. How do you know your mom doesn't love Caps Lock, Stevie? She might. Give it a few people, get a few folks in here. Just got in a box from Pop's Knife Supply. Some more. Looks like a 4-foot bar of Nitro V. What's up, Crispy? Let me get my glasses on, cause I'm getting so old and blind and cheap that I bought a 6-pack of reading glasses off Amazon. If you hear about that, how these look. Yep, they look old. I don't know how many people show up at being this late. But I was just going to come on and talk to you guys for a few minutes about my plans for the near future. I got a couple of you guys already know this, but I was able to purchase a heat treat oven today. So I'm pretty excited about that. And it's probably a waste of my time. There's only 4 people in here to even be explaining this. But guys, I don't want anybody to think poorly or speak poorly of of Brian. I knew going into this that Brian has some depression issues, and we talked about it from the get go, and so therefore I'm not upset at Brian. I'm just trying to remove myself from being uh, a source for any stress or anxiety for Brian. So Shane's Easy Bake Oven. That's right, Steve. It's the Easy Bake. It's got a light bulb in it. Yeah. They make you look like an illiterate librarian. I do notice that they don't come down as far as the other ones, and it's a little bit annoying. But like I said, I bought a 6-pack of them so that I can spread them out places and not worry about can I find my reading glasses. But anyway, so that does mean that from now forward, I will be doing my own heat treats. And I kind of wanted to touch on that because, when I was talking to Stevie today, he asked me, do I have experience with that? Technically, I don't. I spent a day learning how to heat treat with Super Still Steve, and I learned a lot in that day. And, I've researched heat treating ad nauseum. You guys are well aware of that. You got sick of hearing me talk about it. But, even Larry Thomas put out a video recently that about heat treats. I don't remember the name of the video, but it doesn't take a rocket scientist, guys. It's literally a recipe. And with a high quality heat treat oven like I bought, I simply I had to put the steel into a stainless steel foil wrapper. I put it in the oven. I program it to the temperature that I want it to reach, the amount of time I want it to hold that temperature. Alarm goes off, I quench it. It's really that simple, guys. It really is just following a recipe. So uh, that's my plans, and that's what's in the future for me. And that's weird, guys. I had a video played in the background of the richest entertainers in the world, and according to that, it said that I would have never thought that Rihanna was richer than Taylor Swift. Anyway, that's what it said. But yeah, I have zero inhibition, zero fear, zero worries about my heat treats versus anybody else's heat treats. I've got access to some really good heat treat protocols on Steel. depending on what you want it to do, whether, you're looking for toughness, you're looking for edge retention. I have no qualms with doing that. I do have a local source for a HRC tester, so that hopefully 2020 within 2025 I can pay off this heat treat oven and upgrade my grinder and buy an HRC tester. Then maybe 2026, if this continues, that far into the future, I might look at a surface grinder. I don't know, maybe even a mill. I don't know, but I don't want this to stop. I've been without anything to do for about 3 weeks now, and I hate it. I've waited longer than this before, in all honesty, and it wasn't an issue. None of my customers are really complaining. I'm sure they would like to have their stuff, but it's mostly about me, and knowing that this kind of downtime is not healthy for me. So I want to, I want to fix that, and it's also about taking some undue stress off of. No, no, Donnie. Caps lock is for the intelligent. So use it at your own will. What's needing, Kyle? TV remote at 45 HRC. I am looking forward to it. I have a feeling there's going to be about a 10-hour day in the shop where I just heat treat the fuck out of everything. So, I'm looking forward to that. I've got plenty laying right here to heat treat, guys. There's, how many knife blanks I've got here. Is Paul Mills in here? I need to talk to Paul. I know Paul was excited about having his knife heat treated by Brian, and if he wants that, I'll still be willing to send it to him and wait. But, I can't give any kind of guarantees on when it would be done. So I still have options. I just I've got 10 knives, 10 blanks right here right now that I could certainly be heat treating. Heat treat oven's supposed to be here Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. So I can I've got plenty to do already. So that's awesome. Already I was napping and didn't get up till 9:30. Y'all are done. Caps lock is for drunk and old people. I am old, so I get a pass. What's up, One Moon? My big thing is I don't care if you like caps lock or not. I'm going to use it. And if you don't like it, you can just scroll past it. And it's not hard. It's not actually touching you in your sensitive spots. It's just letters, man. I know some people were kind of coming to my defense on that. Guys, I don't care if they banned me from Cole's live stream altogether. I don't care to be there. I stop by sometimes, say hey to Cole. But if I was banned, it wouldn't bother me. At this point, just because they've revealed themselves, yes, I'm trolling. I just go in there. I'm only typing friendly things. I'm part of the conversation. I don't see anything hateful. I just tap it in caps lock just to see which people are so emotionally fragile that caps lock is going to hurt their feelings. And once I figure out who those people are, well, it don't take me long to figure out who they are because, at first they start warning me and then they time me out for 24 hours. So I can't comment again at all. But I will say too, man, it made me feel good that, Brother Ed was piping hot mad and, coming to my defense on it. So I appreciate that. Yeah, Five Door. I mean, legit, these guys are, why are you yelling? and it's funny actually. I kind of hope it doesn't stop, but I'd even almost be willing to. I don't know. Cats like killed my grandpa in the war. Yeah, mine too. Mine too. That's right, Donnie. We'll start going in there together. And what was funny is they banned me. I think I posted about 4 comments, all friendly in caps, and they banned me for the entire live stream. I couldn't comment. And Ed Harrison made every comment he made in caps lock, and they didn't say a word because Cole has legit reached out to his tri-state army and has got all of them trying to get Ed to come back because Ed was his top donor. Now, do any of them people give a fuck about Ed Harrison? No, they want that money back. So they let Ed do it, which I don't care. I don't want them timing Ed out or banning Ed or whatever. It just shows that it is personal. It's personal against me, and I've never met any of those guys. I've never had a personal conversation with any of them. So the fact that I get to live rent free in their head is pretty cool, really. And you guys know who they are, and I don't mind calling them out. One of them might be here now, but it all started with Ian Coates, and then Will be Renee Ramon and Tyler Williams. But what it really pissed me off, because Ian has gone around the community bitching and begging and pleading for mod status on every channel he goes to. He's been going to other channels and putting me in timeout there, and it's really funny because then he'll show up in a live stream where he doesn't have that power and want to try to be buddy. He doesn't want anybody against him. But yeah, I just think it's hilarious that I hope he keeps that same energy at Blade Show, though. If he's got an issue, hear about it. He has tainted that knife to a point because I couldn't bring myself to send him another batch when he hasn't touched the batch he has now. So, you don't have to answer me right now, but take a little time to think about that. If you want to wait until he gets me this other batch back and me send him yours and still have him heat treat yours, if you're willing to wait like that, don't hurt my feelings either way. I'm going to follow the exact same heat treat protocol that he would to get it to 67. Exactly the same. If that's part of your allure to the knife, is knowing that Brian did the heat treat, I'm 100% support that. I just have no idea when it's going to be, because right now, if I could get in touch with him, I would just ask him to send back the 30-something knives that he has so that he doesn't have to worry about that. Because I know he also has reblades that haven't been done. Guys, this is not bashing Brian. I love Brian. I'm worried about Brian. I want Brian to get better, but I don't want to be a source of stress for him at the same time. So like I said, Paul, take a few days, think about that, however long you want. I have no problem heat treating it myself and sending it to Billy so that he can, do a video showing whatever you want, man. Just let me know. But yeah, I've been excited, dude. I've just been pacing all day. I went and walked around the neighborhood. Just had all this nervous energy because I've just kind of been laying around doing nothing for 3 weeks because I don't have any stuff to work with. Oh, my bad, Paul. What I was telling you is my heat treat oven will be here next week. I'd be glad to heat treat your Joke Wolf. If you still want it heat treated by Brian, that's fine. I have no idea how long that's going to take because I still have it because I was not going to send him this batch if he hadn't touched the batch he has now yet. So no idea how long that's going to be if you want it done by him. If you do, it's not going to hurt my feelings. I understand completely, but it would save you a little bit of money if I did it because I don't have to pay, or you don't have to pay for those logistics. But I promise you, I'm going to heat treat it to the exact same protocol that he would. So take some time to think about that and let me know. You can push the buttons. Yeah. You guys really should go watch Larry and Thomas's video on it. It really is simple as I hate to keep using the same as baking a cake though. You know you put it in a foil wrapper so it's airtight. You put it in the oven. You tell the oven, hey, run this at 2150 degrees for 18 minutes. It'll do that. At 18 minutes, it dings. You take it out, you quench it, and then you do 2 temper cycles at 350 degrees for 2 hours each. Any one of you guys could do that if you have your own equipment. So, yeah. That's not taking, the difference between the reason why I've always been fans of Steve and Alex Steingraber and Brian, and believe it or not, guys, there's guys out there that Brian looks up to too, but it's because the difference between them and the reason why I wanted them to do my knives originally is because they were the only people in the industry that was willing to do those heat treats. Anybody else could have done it. The reason why you can't have it done at, say, Peters is because if I send this knife to Peters, well, first of all, I have to stamp it that it's Nitro V. I send it to them. They're not going to heat treat this knife. They're going to put it in an industrial heat treat kiln with 150 other Nitro V knives. They're all going to be done the same way because that's how they make their money. And yes, I will be doing cryo. So that's why you get these industry standards, and people wonder, well, why is my folder at 60 when it could be 62? Well, it's because they're heat treating 1,000 blades at a time, and not everybody was willing to pay for it to be at 62. They don't do small batch just to reach certain numbers. That's not how that works. Paul, you don't need cryo to hit those numbers. No, that's not true. You can hit those numbers without cryo. You can hit those numbers without tempering. You can do it all kind of fucked up ways and get 67. All the cryo does is takes the stress out of the blade. The cryo doesn't make it harder. It makes it tougher so that you can temper it at a lower temperature and it retains some of that toughness even though it's at a higher HRC and has higher edge retention. That's all cryo is there for. It's a lot like the temper cycle, but the way Steve explained it to me, your first temper takes about 50% of the stress out of the steel. Your second temper takes about 30% out. Cryo takes the other 20. Not everybody does cryo because if you're running it at 60 HRC, the cryo is just not necessary. If you're getting up there with higher HRCs, it is necessary, but it's only necessary to retain the toughness, not to achieve the HRC. Outdoors 55 did a video where he heat treated 3 knives 3 different ways to the exact same HRC and then showed you the difference in them. 2 of them were garbage. That's why there are recipes. That's why there are protocols. You can achieve an HRC without using the proper protocol, but it doesn't mean it's any good. So, but yes, I spent quite a lot of money today. I have the cryo equipment. I have the aluminum quench plates. I have tongs. I have the stainless steel foil. I have the oven. It's all coming. So that's right, Donnie. It removes retained austenite, which is the same thing temper does, but cryo does it. Cryo kind of finishes it off. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I know Donnie. I'm not Larry Thomas though, so I'm just trying to give uh, a crow for dummies speech. Not calling you guys dummies, but yeah. Not evilly. I'm glad you stopped by, buddy. And you hit me with a bathtub googly eyes before you go. Homer, if it does, I don't know if I can highlight. I don't know how. I don't think I can highlight comments on YouTube. If it helps with corrosion resistance, I have not studied that at all. Corrosion resistance has never been high on my concern list, so I honestly don't know. It may. I know. Well, I'm sure scientifically it would because your higher HRCs, uh, the higher HRC of a steel, you are slightly lowering that corrosion resistance. So doing some a cryo may help it retain some corrosion resistance, but I don't know. I don't know enough to speak on that. If you'll notice, I've done very little corrosion resistant steel, or other than Nitro V. I am interested in doing some S90V in the near future. I'll be honest with you, the only reason why I haven't done any Magna Cut, I was screaming Magna Cut at the from the rooftops for a year, before and after it came out. I don't dislike Magna Cut. It was just the fact that if Kershaw's, if you can get a Magna Cut from Kershaw, I'd be glad to make you a knife in Magna Cut if you ask for it. But I'm not excited about it, simply because at this point it's just the new S35VN. Everybody's using it, so I'm just not all that excited about it. I still think it's I still think it's great. You know, I think it's the highest edge retention steel you can get while still being super corrosion resistant. Larian did an awesome job. It really is a impressive steel. Donnie, see, there you go again, talking without listening. I'm not saying it's S35VN, but it is the new S35VN of the knife industry. Everybody's got it. Everybody's using it. No, they're not the same steel, though. If you look at Gerald's edge retention testing, the only Magna Cut he's tested that really performed uh, super high was Brian's. Now, you ask yourself, how much of that is because it was 65 HRC, and how much of that was because it was 5 thou behind the edge when no factory knives are 5 thou behind the edge. So, it could have been, well, there's no doubt in my mind, it's not could have been, it was a combination of both. But, if you want something super corrosion resistant, I'd be glad to make that for you. But, clearly people interested in K390 are not worried about corrosion resistance. I need to get with a couple of customers on that too, by the way. I would feel almost guilty shipping out a K390 knife that hasn't been acid washed just to try to get ahead of the corrosion and rust game before it happens. But anyway, I've got some K390 now. Still got like 3 K390 Joke Wolves that are going to be hologram by Sawtooth Dave that are available. The price on those will come down a little bit if I'm not having, to pay the logistics back and forth to Brian and pay him to heat treat, so it'll come down a little bit. But, you know, uh, that's all the K390 I have. I don't plan on buying any K390 other than for, uh, special orders. Crew wear's the same way. I went ahead and ordered some crew wear because I got some knives that I know people are wanting in crew wear, so I'm going to get that done. But for right now, my my plan is still to make my entry level stuff. My $150 to $180 knives are going to be a Nitro V, and then I'll have Crewware and M4. I'm going to try to keep one of those two and on hand all the time. If you want K390, you want Magna Cut, if you want S90V, if you want 3V, 4V, whatever. I'm not going to have that in hand in shop, but I can have it in 3 or 4 days, so it doesn't really matter. Dorito, you have to type in all caps, buddy. I just I can't read it if it's not all caps. Thank you very much, Kathleen. I was very stressed out about what to do, and I was very stressed out about spending that money. I'm going to be honest. I went over my books, and everybody that's got a knife ordered right now, and when I get all those made, shipped out, and paid for, paying for this equipment's not going to be an issue. Yeah. Yeah, Donnie, that's why I was telling you, it was hard for me. When I started out, man, I wanted to make $80 fixed blades. And then I realized, well, shit, man, I'm spending $50, $60 a knife on logistics. Having the steel shipped to me, and then shipping it to Brian or Steve, and them shipping it back, and then me shipping it to Kyle, and Kyle shipping it to you. There's a lot of logistics there that was eating my money up. But yeah. But I've got all that figured out now. Crispy, this is a bit much. This is Sawtooth Dave's 3V monster. I have XL hands. I don't reach the choil or the back of that knife. I do like the way it feels back here to get that leverage to chop. But and I can get 2 fingers. That's a good old Alabama double finger choil right there. Yeah, that's a 3V monster right there. Oh no, Paul, money's not the issue right now. This wasn't my money. I'm not embarrassed to admit it. I wanted to do all this myself, but I had to borrow this money to make this happen from somebody who's been really good to me. And he was kind enough to loan me the money, and I can definitely afford to pay the monthly payment, but I don't even want to do that. I want to be able to pay it off as soon as possible because I want to upgrade my grinder and get to be able to do hollow grinds, and I want to purchase my own HRC tester. So no, Fido, he's not out of the heat treat game. I'm trying to tread on this very lightly, man, because I love Brian. I have no hard feelings, but Brian has some he has some depression issues, and when they get a hold of him, he just kind of shuts down. You won't see him on Instagram. He won't answer your messages. Like I said, not mad at him at all. I just don't want to be a source of that, because I know, like, when I was dealing with my depression, I'd look at my table and see a knife laying there that I'd given away, and after the 3rd or 4th day, I would just lay there all day, just super stressed out, staring at it because I hadn't mailed it yet. Now I know for anyone who hasn't dealt with depression, it seems really simple. Just get up and go fucking mail it. It should be that simple, but it's not always. So I don't. I hate the thoughts that he's dealing with that right now, and I'm sure at some point in time he's had some anxiety thinking about the fact that my knives are sitting there. So, and not only that, guys, but if I plan to continue to do this, and I want to be a legit knife maker, I need to be able to do it myself. So, it's a step that needed to be made anyway. I wasn't quite ready for it, but all the best things always happen when you're under pressure. I was under pressure, so now it's on its way. It not an issue anymore. Yeah. But please, guys, if you take anything from this, know that I'm not upset at Brian. I'm not bad mouthing Brian. I hope to do business with Brian in the future. I will come across something I can't do eventually. Whether it's because of size or whatever. Um, but to. Brian never wanted to start a heat treat business either. He was willing to do it for me out of kindness, and it helped me get just to the point that I am right this minute, and I will forever be grateful to him. Um, he was doing it way too cheap as well. I doubled the price. I doubled what I was paying him because I knew it wasn't enough. So hats off to Brian, man. I love that kid to death. I know he's got ambitions and things he wants to get done, and his state right this minute is stopping him from what he needs to get done. So yeah, Brian is S tier for sure. But yeah, don't anybody be mad at him. I'm not mad at him. I don't. I won't. I won't stand for anybody bad mouthing him. So um, that's the main reason I wanted to come on tonight and talk about this, so that everybody knew what was going on. Stevie, he only uses Chipotle. That might be what's wrong with him. No, they might have so many hormones in that Chipotle food that it's messing with his testosterone and causing his depression. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. When you say Brian's a mad scientist, but you're 100% right. I still, I don't know how many years it'll take me, but you know, him and Steve are both still kind of my heroes. I want to be able to confidently grind things as thin as they can and not worry about blowing through the other side, because I've already had that happen. But that's the only way you learn how to grind thin. If you haven't blown a hole in the bevel, um, then you haven't really tried to grind something really thin yet. So yeah, I feel a little guilty, talking about this kind of stuff, when he's not here. Um, but right now, that I know of, he's not even returning messages. So, Homer, you're right. It will, man. It'll fuck you up, especially if you don't know what it is. Knowing what it is the first step. Knowing that it's happening to you is a huge help. But yeah. But another thing that I'm excited about, and guys, I don't care if it's 1 or 100 by the before I die. I would love to know that there's somebody in the community that bought a little $40 Harbor Freight grinder, a couple of belts, and they ground out their own knife. And I was able to heat treat that for them and make it a reality. Because for so many people who want to make their own something, whether they want to start a company or they just want to make something for themselves or something for their kid, you know, one of the biggest hurdles to that is having it heat treated. Unless you try to use a file and keep it cool enough and all, but you don't end up with a great knife. I mean, that's just the truth. Um, so yeah, once I get this rolling, man, if anybody out there that wants to make something, you know, I'd love to know that I made that possible for somebody. So not trying to make not trying to make money off of it, not trying to start a heat treat business, but I'd love to help a guy, because I think until you've experienced it, and held it in your hand when you're done, that's an awesome feeling, man. And especially if you're into knives and now you've got this one that you made, it is an awesome feeling, and I want everybody to experience it. So, I'll be here for that. What's up, Javon? Javon, this will not be a 10-hour live stream, so you can forget that. Yeah, because I've showed you guys my first one. Guys, I'm embarrassed by it, but at the same time, I'm super proud of it because I made it happen. This thing is ugly as shit. I had no idea what I was doing. I got a good full flat grind on it. This was a nearly quarter-inch thick Korean War file when I got it. And I had to dip it every pass to keep it cool, so I didn't take the heat treat out of it. And I tempered it. I didn't temper it quite enough. It's probably still, according to Steve, when I told him the protocol I use, he says it's probably still 64, 65. But I've dropped it tipped down on the concrete and it didn't break. So it's tough enough. I'm still proud of it because I took the time and I did it. And anybody can do it. And if you want to make your own, you want to use some real steel, that I can point you in the right direction, tell you exactly where to go, where you can buy the steel. You can make it all out of a 4.5-inch grinder if you want to. You can make it all out of a file. You can legit file the bevels in with a good file on a piece of Nitro V, ABL, whatever. You can do it with a file. I can heat treat it. You can sharpen it. So, Cheeto, I would be honored, dude. I mean, you've already sucked half my pride out. Tell me I could make that knife my way. Yeah. Yeah. What did One Moon say? One Moon being mean? I missed it. I don't know. Can I scroll back down on YouTube chat? Yeah, I can. Cheeto, you're already the asshole. Yeah. In case you guys don't know why I keep calling Cheeto an asshole, Cheeto designed a clip point knife or a Bowie, whatever you want to call it. And he sent me a picture of it and told me that, I was free to make it if I wanted to. And as soon as I saw it, I realized what an asshole he was being. Because he knows I can't make that knife. I can make that knife. I can make a version of it. But Cheeto's design language, it's not, guys. I think Donnie, I know Donnie gets it, and there may be some more up here, but I'm not going to show it because I don't have permission. But when you see, it's his transitions. It's not just the fact that it has a swedge. It's the way one swedge transitions to another. That's how I know that Cheeto is a legit designer. And I'm not taking anything away from anybody else that's designed a knife, but you guys ain't got shit on Cheeto. If anybody in this community deserved to be designing knives for people, in my opinion, it's Cheeto. But when you see it, it just it immediately pissed me off because I knew that he knew that I cannot make that knife and do it justice. Maybe one of these days, but not right now. I don't even like doing swedges to begin with, but when you have two that are at slightly different angles and transition the way those do, it's beautiful, man. I want one. Yeah, Cheeto does know his shit. There's no doubt. Cheeto's knife design is right up there with Gary's graphic design. It's incredible. So Shang shopped that design to China. Yeah. Yeah. I'm well, in all honesty, China could do it better than I could because Cheeto and I've talked about that knife probably really needs to be made in a CNC in order to achieve what I know Cheeto's wanting out of it. It'd be the only clip point other than my Buck 110 for nostalgia, but it'd be the only clip point. It'd be the only fixed blade clip point that I would ever want to own. Yeah. Donnie, I agree. Cole's pretty fucking talented too. But I'm just talking about two different things. I'm making fixed blades right now, and that's kind of what Cheeto's designing. So he's more in my sights than some of the pocket knife stuff. What's up, Sharif? By the way, Sharif, I just saw tonight. I'm going to assume that it's true, but I saw in Maddie's live that Maddie had on the screen that your latest model sold out. And hats off, brother. I'm really proud for you, man. Um, there are lots of knife snobs out there. Lefty considers himself a knife snob, but for not necessarily for all the right reasons. And I don't agree with him, but anyway, Kyle is one of the pickiest motherfuckers I know when it comes to anything, and he will not shut up about how good that knife is. And so I understand why it sold out. For Kyle to speak on it the way he does, because Kyle, I mean, I'm not saying anything that he's trying to keep secret. Kyle's not excited about any pocket knives right now. He's a little burnt out, but he's excited about Sharif's. So that's something. Your salt, I knew when I said that your brain would stop spinning and or start spinning and you'd come up with something. Yeah. I was a big fan of the Grazioso too, but I never owned it. But just from looking at it, I was really I loved the Grazioso because I hadn't seen 1,000 close variants of it. It was just different enough. Yeah. Mirror, you never sent me the picture of your baguette lamp. I still want to see that. I woke up a couple times in my sleep, looked over, and you were still going. You must be talking about Javon last night. Yeah. Shreve, I had a conversation with Kyle earlier, and I'd love to hear you guys' input on this, but I have never seen a Hogue knife that I was super excited about. I'm super excited about them as people and how they treat their employees and the fact that they're US made, all that stuff. But in my opinion, if I was Hogue, instead of just trying to make Benchmade alternatives, I would continue all my gun stuff and I'd turn that knife shop into a US OEM. Because here's my thing: if they can work with aluminum, they can work with titanium. I think it would be awesome, if they could do 300 knife batches as OEMs. But that would be incredible. I think I'm sure for a fancy titanium frame lot, there would be some growing pains. We would have to support them through that. But I mean, you guys are supporting me through my growing pains. But design one that looks like a racing jet. What too soon? Shut up, Javon. I've got my Hogue, and I will always own this Hogue. I do agree that it's a better knife than the bug out, especially as greedy as Benchmade is getting now. But some of you know why this knife will forever be sentimental to me. And I'll say it again for those of you who don't. Mr. Jason Brown got a gift card for his birthday for Smoky Mountain Knife Works, and he had heard me mention wanting one of these. And the only reason I want it is because it's American made. And Jason went to his wife and asked her permission to spend his birthday money to purchase me this knife. That's the kind of guy Jason was. I scared to death, man. This thing came up missing. I was so upset. Luckily, it was right here in the house. It got found. My wife knows she's to never touch it again. But yeah, I'm sure it does. But like I said, if you have the CNC, you can buy the tooling. It could be done. I wouldn't even care if they just did aluminum framed or whatever. If they could just start doing some US OEM, because they are OEMing. Didn't they just OEM a CRKT? Wasn't it CRKT that Hogue's making? Yeah. But back to Javon's thing, I'm pretty sure Javon's making fun of KC. I want to make fun of anybody that's bought KC's knives, but KC's knives look like every other Kubi I've ever seen. They just do, man. They just look like Kubi designs to me. There's nothing, at least Kevin did something kind of original. It's ugly as fuck. And I don't know why anybody ever want it. His first knife, but Yeah. He's made some stuff since then that I was okay with. Yeah. Time to make some aluminum scales, then make some time. Oh. I don't know what you're telling me, Yoda. Are you saying it takes twice as much time? Is that what you're getting in? Here comes the tears. From who? You talking about me? I can talk about Jason without crying sometimes. Goofy fantasy knives. Stevie, I'm super proud of you, dude. I'm glad. I'm glad you got rid of them things because it was eating at me every day to want to make fun of them, but I didn't want to hurt your sales, so I left it alone. Did you sell them all as a lot? Did somebody buy all of them, or I'm going to ignore that because you didn't type it in caps, but. If I do, I mean, I've held lots of Hogues that I thought were great knives. I just don't think they don't have a design language that makes people super passionate for them. I really feel like they make Benchmade alternatives. Not saying that they copy Benchmade. They got some great models. I just think it would be cool for some really good designers, I guess, other than Elashewitz, to you know, it's not going to happen. It was just a pipe dream. I was just thinking of all the American companies because, like, Spyderco would be kind of dumb to do that because they've been making the same knives in slightly different variants for years and they sell out. So it wouldn't make any sense for them. It wouldn't make any sense for Benchmade to do it because it'd be too damn expensive. But if Hogue can make this for $118, now granted I did put aluminum scales on it, but if they can make this for $118, I'm sure they could make Lefty some knives for 150 and he can still throw $450 worth of markup on it to brag to you guys that he has a US OEM. But isn't that what he wanted for his US made knife? $600. Stupid dude. Anybody that was going to pay over $600 for Lefty's US OEM knife, if you're willing to pay more for that than you are a Chris Reeve, you're way too big of a Lefty EDC fan. Yeah, Sharif. That's one. I just think they would. I think it would be awesome if they had OEM. They did OEM work, and maybe they're just you know, maybe they're just happy with where they're at. Maybe they're making the exact number of knives they want to make and selling the exact number of knives they want to sell. So it was just a pipe dream. Yeah. What Paul said, I've got to own at least one Devo, either the Stout V2, Buzz, or Tallboy. He had one that designed that I liked, but I mean, it could have been replaced with 4 other Chinese made knives that looked really close. I say that, and I take inspiration from other knives. Anybody that's ever ground a blade or anybody that's ground one in the last 100 years has. For a long time, just about all we had was Bowie's, and everybody was copying Jim Bowie on that. I know there's videos out there saying that he didn't make the first one, but whatever. Stevie, I think Hogue would have Nuz escorted off the premises by security. Yeah. So I know a lot of people were excited about REC that they were going to start doing some OEMing. I haven't seen or heard a single knife that's come out of that shop. I know I can't remember his fucking name. Uh, anyway, I know that one guy was supposed to have a US OEM, AVNT knives or whatever you call them. was supposed to have one, and I haven't seen or heard anything about it. But you guys do understand, yeah, Jake, Bearded Gear. You guys do understand why that is, right? It's because if you have a shop and you have CNC machines in there and you're paying a CNC operator what they're worth, there are 1,000 other things that you could make that you don't have this picky clientele, constantly bugging you and make more money than knives. Knives are not profitable enough for a legitimate CNC machine shop to want to fuck with it. That's why it's like that. Anybody that, Alex Steingraber, Michael Martin, any of those guys who've invested that kind of money into, Alex Steingraber could stop making knives today and make the clip for this ink pen and make millions of them and make more money than he does off of knives. Anybody that spends that time and that money, it's because they have a passion for something. I just don't think everybody has a passion. I think some people just want some money. Yeah, simple dollars and cents, John. Yep. You're exactly right, Patina. I mean, it's just like, when Cole went to his dad, showed him a knife and asked him, what he would charge to make that knife. And he said, I wouldn't make it for less than $1,000. It's not because it costs $1,000 to make that knife. What he's talking about is, in the time it takes me to make that knife, I could have made other things. So therefore I would have to charge $1,000. Knife. Why is Ed Durbin's message retracted? I don't know if I've never seen Ed say anything hateful, but sorry about that, Ed. I don't know what they removed your message for. There we go. Good job, Ed. Caps locks for the win. But yeah, and like I said, if he's making the clips for that sink pen by the millions and making more money, who he doesn't have? He doesn't have us bitching about the detent on the clip, because people who bought this ink pen aren't picky motherfuckers. So yeah. Yeah. Also, Sharif, I didn't hear those details. I wasn't aware of that. And it just goes to show, man. Maybe they bit off more than they chew. Maybe they didn't realize what it takes to make, to make a good knife. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, and maybe that's why Alex can do it. It's because he is doing it all. But there's no doubt in my mind, if Alex Steingraber can make any of the knives that he makes, he can make any part to damn near perfection and make a lot more money. He's just, he's got that passion, so he's doing what he wants to do. Message deleted by Patina Turner. And I'm sorry, buddy. I rarely ever use YouTube Studio to go live. I can't even highlight. I'm not saying I can't highlight comments. I don't know how, and I certainly wouldn't know how to make you a. Let me just tap on it and see. Oh, wait a minute. There you go. It was easy. It's actually easier than it is on. Sorry, Patina, you can't time Ed out anymore. That's funny. Donnie, rule number one about asking for a wrench, it'll get you timed out. Donnie is not getting a wrench. Donnie's going to have to go through. Donnie's going to have to be on here for a solid year exhibiting 100% constraint before Donnie gets a wrench. Nobody timed Ed out. What the fuck? He was timed out. I can see it on my thing. And then Donnie was timed out too. I don't know what I was thinking. I didn't even think about that. The fact that I wasn't trying to make Ed a mod. I was just trying to take him out of timeout. Well, I messed that all up. Yeah. But yeah, I can't do that, Donnie. I don't have much of a channel as it is, but I'm trying to hold it together. So Tyler, are you saying I messed that up completely? Ed's thing was never Ed was never in timeout. No, it says right there. It says Ed Durbin message retracted. Maybe Ed retracted it. I don't know. I took your wrench away though, Ed. Sorry. Ed got a. Did Ed get a Rosie? You know, when people get Rosies, they disappear. I think they're a death wish. Because you know, uh, Marco Polo got a Rosie. JN got a Rosie. Go live with Donnie. The first one would be pretty popular. Everybody would be excited about that. But this is not the weekly grind with Blessed Knives. This is just me going live. So he removed his message. My bad, Kyle. I admitted it. I fucked that all up. I think Bettina had 6 Rosies at one point in time. I don't know if he still has any of them. He's probably one of those asshole flippers that just collected them to make money. 5 that's an excellent knife, man. I miss mine. I do. There's only a couple more Spydercos I really want to own. And I even tried to get the guy I sold it to sell it back to me because he doesn't even really like it. He won't carry it. It just sits in his tactical gear room. I really wish he'd sell it back to me. I had the carbon fiber S90V. I will admit that's probably not the best native chief. Just because it's so long and skinny that S90V I'm sure would snap easy, but you know I traded them for Medfords, so you can anchor your busted ass little fake pirate boat. I've seen that boat. One Medford would anchor that boat, Patina. That's funny. Had Rosie XL for a week, gone. Somebody asked me to make them a fixed blade shaped like a Rosie XL. And I remember telling them that it wouldn't be, because it really wouldn't be a problem. It's a very simple design. And damn if I can remember who it was. I can't find it in my messages. I'd still love to do it, but I don't remember who it was for. And apparently they may have lost interest too, because they ain't said anything else about it since. I'm really the thing I'm most excited about in the near future is I'm making Muirsalt a 10-inch Santoku, and I went ahead and cut out 4 of them. Well, I'm sorry, I did 3 Santokus and 1 cleaver, but I'm really excited about doing those, even though there's a high probability that I ruined them. I mean, there's a high probability that I blow through those things. I know if that happens, Muir's not going to be too upset because I don't think he needs the knife. But I was kind of glad Muirsalt did kind of get me to broaden my horizons a little bit, and just instead of making tactical or outdoorsy fixed blades, he was the one that kind of came up with that idea. I'm excited to see if I can do it. I may waste 4 perfectly good knife blanks. I don't know. It we'll see. Donnie, yes, I make knives usable. It's true. That's very true. Oh, let me guys tell you a story about today. Stevie, I hope you're still in here to hear this. So Kyle calls me. I don't remember if I called Kyle. I think Kyle called me. We're talking. He's like, I got a package today. I was like, you did? He's like, yeah. He said, I thought it was Stevie's knife. And then when I opened it, I was confused. So, because this is a little tiny knife. I was like, huh? Now, there's no way Joe fucked up and mailed the wrong knife, because I had actually forgot for a minute. And then I realized that it's the Jason Brown rifle knife. So Kyle now has it so it can get sharpened. So it'll be ready for the raffle. But the funny part was Kyle was like, yeah, man, as soon as I opened it, I thought, damn, man, Shane's getting really good at scales. These are the best scales Shane has ever done. That's because Pro X 1840 did them, you asshole. Oh. Yeah, Stevie, that's if you know, you know, and that's hilarious. Kyle sitting there admiring my work. Couldn't find out it was Pro X. I don't even know how to feel about that, dude. Every time I think about it, I feel kind of nostalgic. I feel proud. I feel sad to think about that, that knife that I made got Bill's last pair of scales ever. You know, I hope whoever gets it, I hope it's worthwhile, to Nora for whatever they pay for it. But take me out of the equation. That's a very special knife because it's what Jason wanted, and now it's also Bill's last set of scales. I wouldn't. I don't have the money, but I wouldn't bat an eye. I wouldn't think poorly of somebody if they paid $1,000 for that knife. And I'm not trying to raise the price because I made it, because I'm not getting any of it. But yeah, man, that's a very special knife that somebody will own. What is it, the 18th, Stevie? In the 18th when you're doing or Maddie's, whoever's doing it, you and Maddie. Yeah. Shout out to Brother Billy Boy. Yeah, I was having a little mental dilemma one time, and Bill called me. I had no idea what that meant. 12/18's be up day. Okay. I had no idea what that meant because Bill didn't call people. Like, Bill just did not call people on the telephone, but he was worried about me and called me. And I know how hard that was for him. And my love for Bill was only multiplied after that day. Yeah. Yeah. You don't have to remind me of that, Stevie. You are going to get me teared up. You wouldn't even talk to Jason on the phone. But yeah. I seem to have a habit of getting people on the phone, but I hate phone calls. So I didn't even ask. I just called Cole, broke as knives. I had no idea that phone communication gave him anxiety. But we had a good conversation, man. It went well. I got Cole his knife. That one's handled. I got Terry his knife. I wish they were a little better, but they both of those guys have been good to me when they really didn't have any reason to. I still use that set of magnetic torch bits that Terry sent me. And I've admitted this publicly before. At that point in time, I wasn't even sure if I liked Terry. I was kind of almost convinced that I didn't, just because I hadn't given myself a chance to get to know him. But he watched me struggle with some screws one night, and I was like, man, if I had some magnetic bits, this would be a lot easier. Like 2 days later, they were in my mailbox. But yeah. And then Terry also, without asking, no request, just made me my 1931 Leatherworks slip for my, I know his, yeah, there it is. His maker's mark's right there. For my Bullbuster. And I had Kyle put a razor sharp edge on it. So I will carry this, but if I use this, I promise you it's going to be in a medical emergency or something. So, yeah, and Cole just out of the blue, without me begging him, made me a super cool channel logo and, well, knife company logo. Actually, that's what I'm going to put on my blades when I get the means. So, Cole is Terry. I may have made that mistake a couple of times, and then I thought that that big hairy fat belly in Stevie's meme, I thought that was Cole. He took it really well though, so that's good. It is a nice looking slip. I'll tell you too, man. I don't understand how Terry, and I love that he did it, guys. This thing's thinner than Kydex, but very stiff. It retains its shape. He did an awesome job on this, man. Shane, you're disturbing it. You're right, Bettina, and it's only been in the last few years. Yeah, it kind of started when I wasn't getting enough blood flow to my brain with my heart stuff. But even after they fixed all that, dude, I could get a. I did not take it well. I'm still a little pissed. Well, I appreciate you playing along and acting like you weren't mad. But I guess it's wet form here, so I don't know. I've just never seen leather that thin be that rigid, and he just did an excellent job, man. I don't know what these cost, guys, but yeah, y'all support Terry anytime you get a chance, man. Stevie, I was about to say that. Stevie called me and he's like, "You called Cole?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "You don't do that." I was like, I didn't know. Yeah. I like Terry. Wait a minute now, Kyle. Now you're getting personal. I like Terry's Gideon more than Cole's Orlock. Well, that's personal preference. Nothing wrong with that. I hope both of them do really well with those. I did. I had my first chance to see Luke 10 T Rex's his knife, and I was telling Kyle about that tonight. It's a good looking knife. I'm not bad mouthing it at all. I'm proud for him that he got it made, but it's always strange to me that how easy it is to pick out a Kaiser. And it's not because like of a lack of quality or any of that. There's just always something about their knives that screams, "I was made by Kaiser." I can't put my finger on it. Sharif, maybe you can, maybe but like your Grazioso, when I knew that it was made by Kaiser as soon as I saw it. So it's not design language. I don't really know what it is that they do that always has their stamp on it somehow. Like I can almost always tell. Like as soon as I saw, and I'm not, guys, I am not talking shit, but as soon as I saw Luke 10 Texas knife, I thought that almost looks like it was made over from leftover Kaiser October parts. I don't know. I guess you're right, Sharif. Because I'm sure Luke's micarta is the same micarta that was on the October and the finish. Yeah. There's just something about them, though, man. They always. Elmer's favorite knife, the Grazioso. Let me tell you something, man. I've deleted a lot of people off my YouTube. And it's weird how they don't go away. Like they still put their stuff in front of me in my algorithm, but not Emler. I don't know if they sensed my hate, but that dude literally just doesn't exist in my algorithm anymore. I never see anything from Emler. I agree, Patina. F. Imler. I mean, I wish him the best, but I don't care for him. Good night, Kathleen. I appreciate you stopping by. Uh, but yeah, the whole algorithm is so like tonight. I decided. I remembered it was Wednesday, so I was going to jump in on Maddie's live. I had to go in my search bar, completely type in Mattisfaction, and hit enter. Then go to his channel and scroll down and find the live and click on it to get. It refuses to put Maddie's content in front of me. It just will not do it. Like I can't like if I type in SA, it immediately pops up said Stevie. If I type in the letter O, it immediately pops up OCD. But for some reason, Maddie, it just I don't know, man. I've tried unfollowing him and following him back. None of it works. Even when I was a channel member, I never get a notification. I literally have to search all the way to the end to find his stuff. So Sharif stands with Patina. Does that mean that Imler didn't like the Grazioso? Imler has a great deal on ZT. I bought one from him for $100. It was nice. Pocket checking any homeless person with a lynch clip. I will get that back. That's funny. Diddler's got dropped. If you do, Tina, you know good well I'd punch that guy right in the mouth if I thought I'd get your knife back. Donnie, don't be quoting Letterkenny. It's not funny in English. Without the Canadian accent, Letterkenny's not funny. Imler loved the Gracioso, and he is cool to me. Oh, but yeah, for the Pirate Queen, that don't. I got you. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that was just handled very unprofessionally. We all talk about how Kyle is surprisingly professional, but Imler was surprisingly unprofessional for somebody that's been sharpening as long as he has. Because it really felt a whole lot like he didn't care. Even if he didn't do anything wrong, it still felt like he didn't care. Clear your cache. Mattisfaction is between masturbation and midgets. Your search history is probably making it harder to see. It might be, John. That could be it. Home is where the barb is. Doesn't need an accent. Yes, it does. See, I just said it, and it wasn't funny at all. And the best thing about Letterkenny is Katie, anyway. Yeah, I mean, who has somebody else's property and doesn't even get a tracking number or whatever when they ship it? Like, just doesn't give a fuck enough to keep up with it. There's nothing predatory about a grown woman, Donnie. Oh. But anyway, that was I really only came on here to talk about that, let you guys know my stress is over. I got my heat treat oven, why I got it, and not to talk shit or be mad at Brian. But yeah, I was excited, wanted to let everybody know. So that's about all I got, guys. It's already been an hour and 16 minutes. Now Shane is going to have fresh baked cookies while grinding. I don't know what that means. Not to mention, took months to ship so he can make a video, then send it during holidays with no tracking. Jackass, and not let me know it's on the way after I told him people are stealing my mail. Yeah, he's just a fucking douchebag. For all you guys who remember the whole Knives Live group chat drama. Yes, Red Wolf is a horrible human being, but at the same time, I had all but begged Mike to keep that chat for Knives Live questions and announcements only. And he was too big a fucking dickhead to listen. So, whether Red Wolf went over the line saying the things about Mike that he said or not, it never should have happened. And if Mike had kept his mouth shut, it never would have happened. So, so yeah, that's starting to sound like he lost your knife or something way before that. I don't know. Tina is, I don't know what that says, Cheeto. Donnie, everybody says that, and I feel bad because I don't do it, but I've hinted around about it. But at this point, I can just come out and say it. I am not spending 1 second of my life catering to those fucking whiny pricks in order to make Knives Live happen ever again. I liked it. I'm glad we raised some money for Doug, whatever. I am not. I will never do that again. So, unless somebody else wants to do it, I'm just not stroking those guys' egos to keep them happy enough. You'd had to been there, dude. That was really what first opened my eyes to what fucking douchebags half these people really are. And it's just not worth it. Yeah. Well, Donnie, I mean that would be possible, if we could come up with enough people to participate. But at the same time, it kind of bites to think about, you know, doing it for less money than you did before. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I really wish Metal Complex would do it. In all honesty, I wish he would do it. He can deal with those people better than I can because they all look up to him like a god. So he could easily get those people together and probably raise a lot more money than we did, and more power to them as long as they keep it. I don't know at this point though, dude, that you could even get some of those channels to participate if they don't profit from it. They've gotten so money hungry at this point. Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, nothing wrong, guys. There were some really good channels who've been over backwards to, were willing to take any time slots. Some of the guys were great. Stevie was great. Matty, there's a list of people who was great. It was just about 5 or 6 that nobody ever got to see it. Nobody understood what I was dealing with and how gross some of those grown men were to make me not want to be part of it anymore. You know, yeah. I'm proud that we did it, but yeah, it's just I think it'll just forever be stained in my mind at this point. If we came up with something else, and another thing too, there are other charities that do a lot more for people than that one. I wouldn't mind participating and helping with something different, but I don't have any interest in ever doing the same thing again. You know, we could, if it's just about supporting uh, knife rights, guys, we could all be more involved in his other big yearly thing. So, you know, I can't remember what it's called, but Yeah. And I'm sure there's probably some guys in here that joined Knife Rights that hadn't been there before, and may still have memberships now that didn't. So it brought awareness. It did good things. It just yeah, so much negative came out of it that you guys, fortunately, that you guys never had to see. But you know I could tell you things about some of these channels, some of them that I've never even spoke against. Some would shock you, but I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna leave it alone. I will say this though: Dirk Warning's the biggest pansy ass bitch I've ever had a conversation with. That is the most feminine, softest piece of shit human being I've ever had a conversation with. Yeah. Stevie, you're right. We did raise money, Doug. And I know when you say it that way, it sounds bad, but that also kind of goes back to the whole, when people were trying to bash the Wounded Warrior Foundation about that $500,000 party they threw. Yeah, they did, and they raised a couple of $1,000,000 doing it because in order to get those kind of rich people to donate, you got to throw $500,000 parties. When you just put on the headline that Wounded Warrior spends $500,000 on a uppity party in New York City, of course it looks bad. But they turned the $500,000 into a couple of million that they actually used to help people. Is that the exact same thing Doug was doing? I don't know. But if you're trying to get politicians to change their mind about something and do something for you in the world we live in today, I don't know that you can do it without, either padding their wallet or, if taking them out to dinner is the least you have to do, that's probably pretty good. Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, guys, I want to get off here and get to bed. I got a couple things I got to do tomorrow. Um, One, I'm going to the shop to make a couple of knives that I'm going to completely finish that are not heat treated. I know that sounds like a crazy idea, but I've got somewhere I've got to go this weekend. They were really looking forward to seeing some of my stuff. So I am going to finish out a couple of knives unheat treated so that I have something to show. I won't be able to sell them, but you know, at least I can kind of show my designs or whatever. So got a couple of big days ahead of me before I head out Saturday morning to Camden, Tennessee to hang out with the right wing militia guys. Anyway, make some good scales like the Jason Brown would call. I will try my damnedest. Yeah, I will try. But you guys know I appreciate any amount of time y'all spend with me. And I love y'all. See you soon.